Hello, and once again, welcome to the Freeze podcast, the podcast about hip hop chatter, where once again trying to do a video episode. This is pretty much an emergency broadcast, given what has happened in the state of hip hop in the last week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, if you don't recognize the face, this is my former co-host Tyler McLaurin, who was a big part of the Freeze, and who did the show with me for years. Do check out the episode where he returns and he talks about what he's been up to. And yeah, we're kind of gonna get right into it. I'll just play the intro track and we'll set up to talk about it.
Sounds good, man. Set it off.
That was the wrong button. Oh no.
Oh no, you have no intro button?
Hold on.
Hit that intro button.
God damn. What happened?
What do these do? Oh, yo.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me go back. Oh no. Did it get rid of the intro button? That sucks. Well, I'm gonna have to. It's because this fucking soundboard.
You want to keep it moving?
Yeah.
Keep it.
It's all right. We'll fix that in post.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
Good Lord, that was embarrassing.
No, it's fine. No one's gonna see any of this.
Yeah, we'll cut that. You know what? Let's redo the whole intro. Actually,
redo the whole intro.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll just leave a beat.
Yeah. So let me go back to the audio bank though. There we go. That should be fine.
Sorry.
For good measure. Okay, starting over. All right, let me know when you're good.
I'm good. I'm ready.
Hello, and once again, welcome to the Freeze podcast. We're doing another video episode. This is pretty much an emergency broadcast, as we just kind of felt it appropriate to talk about the beef that's going on, the biggest thing in hip hop in years, maybe a decade. And yeah, I had to get my co-host Tyler, who was a big part of the podcast since the beginning. We definitely want to chop it up and talk about what's happening. If you missed the previous episode where we did try to do a video episode but didn't quite work out, please go check out the episode where Tyler returns and he talks about what he's been up to. And yeah, we'll get into it, and I'll just leave a space here for the intro.
The Freeze
Podcast.
The Freeze
Podcast.
The Freeze Podcast.
Do you want to do a quick recap?
Yes,
or
actually
it might not be so
recap.
quick. I think the summary might actually be pretty lengthy, but I wouldn't mind just going through the timeline.
You're right, actually.
And we can
let's
kind
do
of
a summary.
talk about, give our thoughts as each track comes up.
Sure.
So I have a handy dandy little document on my phone here of receipts.
Okay.
So my understanding was that the initial inciting incident, so to speak, for all of this beef was Kendrick Lamar on Like That, where he is responding to a bar from J.Cole on First Person Shooter.
Correct.
Which is kind of strange. Like I admit, like trying to trace back the origins of this beef and finding those initial 4 bars or 2 bars even was like this is it. This is all. This is what we're fighting about.
It wasn't even a diss. It was a shout out.
It wasn't even. Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah.
So J. Cole says,
the big 3.
Yeah, I love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K Dot? Is it Aubrey or me? We the big 3, like we started a league, but right now I'm feeling like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know. Like I guess Muhammad Ali is like the GOAT. Maybe he's saying like, oh, like we're the big 3, but I'm the best. Which is kind of a diss, I suppose.
It's not really a diss. So this is my take on it.
Yeah.
My thing is, this whole thing wouldn't have happened if J. Cole didn't do 7-minute drill.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. Because 7-minute drill, because Kendrick on was it Like That? No, it
would have been Euphoria probably, right?
Maybe it was no, because didn't Drake start it with push-ups? Because it was push-ups and then Taylor made. Hold on,
we'll get there. Yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
So, because basically, J. Cole disses him, but the diss or the subliminal was more aimed at Drake. And so people are like, well, that's cool that J. Cole did that, but he just kind of caught a stray, basically. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's like, oh, because there was, he's like, there's no big three, it's just big me, right? And the song, from what I remember of the verse, is kind of almost like against like sort of like commercial rappers. I don't really yes, J. Cole's like commercially successful, but I don't see him as like a commercial artist per se. Where it's like, so J. Cole did 7-minute drill. And then because of that, it kind of, I feel, put a battery in Drake's back, because it's like, oh, if he's doing that, then I got to step up, because I look silly if I don't. If this guy's catching us straight and he's doing a whole diss. But then obviously J. Cole apologized, right?
Yeah, like 2 days later. Yeah, so we get the bars 2 days later. Yeah, so we get the bars, so we get like that. Like that sets everything off.
Yeah.
Also, I would say a strong contender for best song in the battle. I think like that is hard.
I don't like
it's
the like that. The beat is good. The beat.
I think like that is hard.
I don't like
it's
the like
so
that. The beat is good. The beat is good. But yo, Kendrick's bars are not that good. I'll say it. Like I like he said it himself. It's a throwaway verse, bro. It's a throwaway.
Yeah.
People
I think
really,
it's a great song.
People
it
really
goes
going
hard.
to bat for the song, but like it's good because it's Future and Metro on a beat. You know what I mean? Like it's.
I think the reason why the song has garnered some esteem or respect or whatever is because it was a throwaway that created all this mayhem.
Yeah, but
like you regardless of the quality of the verse, it still did what it did, right?
True.
Yeah.
And
so,
the beat goes nuts.
And the beat is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I think Metro has this talent for taking the hokiest presets and making them into like the hardest beats imaginable. Because that like little synth like whip, 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 it's so hokey, man. Like out of context, if you just played that synth line, it would sound ridiculous. But he just puts it over those drums and it's like, it actually just, it slaps, dude. It's mean, you know, at that piano. Anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd put that out there. You're talking about, you know, if we're going to go for best song, I think this is worth considering.
I mean, I like First Person Shooter too. I think it's a great track.
First Person Shooter is also pretty strong. Yeah, it's a pretty good song.
I know Kendrick didn't want to do it, but I would have been curious what that would have sounded like.
Oh, like First Person Shooter?
Because he was
like
invited.
With Kendrick?
Yeah, because he was invited
that would have
to
been
do a
sick.
feature.
It would have been
right?
awesome. Yeah. Like J. Cole and Drake and Kendrick all just like going in on that beat would have been ridiculous. Yeah. I was actually thinking about that too. Let's see. So Kendrick, I have a bunch of Kendrick's bars here because I think a lot of them are relevant.
Okay.
You know, he's talking about like N-words are talking out of their necks. Don't pull no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat.
And this is like that?
This is all on like that.
Okay,
Let's get it, bro. DOT, money, power, respect. Say it's a lot of goofies with a check, right? So it feels like the whole verse is it's antagonizing, you know?
And it's aimed at Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I hope the sentiment's symbolic. My temper bipolar, and I choose violence, right? But then he talks about like, get up with me, fuck sneak dissin, first person shooter. I hope they come with 3 switches. Yeah. And I think that was kind of the main one where, he called out first person shooter like by name.
Yeah.
And that's what made it kind of clear that this is not just a bunch of like, I'm just being hard on its song. It was like a very deliberate.
Well, even when he
jab,
says the line, fuck the big 3, it's just big me. That's obviously an allusion to first person shooter as well.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
And then we get into the J. Cole. So the bars that I grabbed from 7-minute drill.
Okay.
So he says, Lord, don't make me have to smoke this N-word because I fuck with him. But push come to shove on this mic, I will humble him.
Yeah.
So I see it very much as that's for Kendrick, right?
Yeah, no, J. Cole.
Humble,
right? J. Cole was dissing Kendrick.
You know what I'm saying? But he is very much keeping it bars. He's like, I'm the better rapper.
Yes.
Right? He's not, at this point, we haven't gotten personal. It's all very much about like, it's all, we're sparring. Exactly. Yeah. I'm Nino with this thing, that New Jack City meme, and I'm aiming at G Money, crying tears before I bust him. Like there's this idea of like, he's going to be sad about it. I'll put him down, but I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
And then, and like you said, J. Cole absconded. He sort of threw his hands up and went, actually, I want no part of this. Which at the time, everyone's considered to be an L.
J-Fold.
And in hindsight, everyone is looking at J. Cole like he's the smartest guy in the room.
Yes, exactly.
Like he knew exactly what was coming. I think it's because J. Cole probably understood that Kendrick fucking hates Drake.
Okay, so did you
know what I mean?
Did you hear the rumor?
No, what rumor? Well, maybe. I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
the rumor is that ScHoolboy Q shot him a text and was like, "Hey, you don't want this problem."
Oh, ScHoolboy Q texted J.Cole?
Yeah.
And was like, yo, like,
Yeah,
bow
yeah.
out now.
Yeah, because
Wow.
you don't understand what's happening.
Oh, like you don't understand how deep this goes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that. That's
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
man. Fucking ScHoolboy, dude. He's still
Yeah.
out here, man, making moves.
Man of the year.
Man of the year. I wanted to briefly touch on the some of the other songs from the We Still Don't Trust You album.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, real quick. So the Weeknd
Yes.
had some
That's a good one.
lines, right? He
Yeah.
talked about
Leaks in their operation.
yeah, look how we moving, baby. They could never diss my brother's baby when they got leaks in their operation. Thank God I never signed my life away.
Yeah.
And then he says, and no,
So
we never do the big talk. Them shooters making TikToks got us laughing in the Lambo. I promise that we got your back. So that's kind of just just leading into the chorus.
So obviously, so for the people who don't know about the Sign My Life Away, the Weeknd was under serious consideration to sign with OVO.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
yeah.
surprising. It would have been another party next door on the shelf.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, the Weeknd wrote like half of Take Care, basically.
That's the rumor. I've heard that got 40 debunked that, but I mean it's 40.
I mean, 40. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But I did, for the record, like there has been some talk about 40 being like, what are you talking about? Like Abel definitely maybe did his thing on a couple songs, but it's not like he wrote half the album,
Well, I mean,
right? Like
people
I think
also
that's kind of absurd.
people also say Kid Cudi like wrote 808s and Heartbreak too,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. I think a lot of those rumors are exaggerated personally.
Yeah.
But the Weeknd definitely contributed to the sound that Drake
For
was
sure.
manifesting on Take Care for sure, right? That's undeniable. And then just real quick, I want to touch on ASAP Rocky. Had a few things to say on Show of Hands.
Okay. I don't think I
I'm
heard
just
that
real
one.
quick.
Yeah.
He says, "Call up Pluto. Metro
yeah.
should have put me on the first one.
Yep.
N-words swear they're bitch the baddest. I just bagged the worst one.
Yeah.
N-words in they feelings over women. What, you heard or something? I smashed before you birth, son. Flacco hit it first, son.
Yeah.
So he kind of has this whole thing where he's maybe clowning on Drake a little bit about Rihanna.
Yes,
'cause it's
that's
well
exactly it, yeah.
documented that Drake is like deeply in love with, or at least
Or he
was
was,
deeply in
yeah,
love
yeah,
with
yeah,
Rihanna.
yeah.
He like said it at an award show.
Yeah.
You know? So there's really no question there. But yeah, kind of funny. I don't know. ASAP Rocky just kind of coming out of the woodwork on a feature, just throwing a couple
Shots,
little
yeah.
jabs in there, a couple quick shots. Again, nothing really personal. It's all kind of just,
Well, no, that is it's extremely personal. What are you talking
I
about?
guess, but it's-
talking about like, because so it's because now
he's just
Rihanna
saying, like,
is
I'm
the mother of his children,
Yeah.
right? But he's basically saying like, you know, like fuck you, like I got your girl type shit. You know what I mean?
right.
The thing about let's talk about the Metro albums,
Sure.
bro. The industry hates Drake.
Well,
for
the
there to be
hip-hop-
two
yeah.
albums.
Hip hop hates Drake. The industry loves Drake. The music industry loves
I mean,
Drake.
the execs maybe, but I
Right?
mean, like, it seems like
culture doesn't seem to
behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, my thing is this, like, what is happening behind the scenes? Like, I understand, like, you know, Drake took this Metro's girl or whatever, allegedly, right?
Was that Future's girl?
I think it's both.
Why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
And he, you know, the rumor is like he does like fuck shit, right? Like he's very much like a 50 Cent character, but I'm wondering how deep it goes for the whole, you know, all these hip hop dudes
Yeah.
to come out the woodwork
Yeah.
and be like, yo, fuck this dude.
So then, yeah, Drake, then that brings us to Drake, segues pretty nicely into push-ups,
Yeah.
which was sort of the next big event in our timeline.
Mm.
And yeah, Drake's just going at everybody, man. It's like, this to me was when we went from like, oh, it's, you know, tracking this beef reminded me a bit of trying to be a comic book fan.
Okay.
Where a lot of storylines, they'll sow the seeds for the next arc
Yeah.
of a storyline in the other comics.
Yeah.
So you'll have like, the new Avengers storyline gets alluded to in the Silver Surfer comics, and then that or maybe there's like a Captain America arc that then kind of leads into the next Avengers storyline. So this is sort of like when things all sort of condense down, we get that big event movie. This is, if you were gonna
Endgame.
well, maybe not Endgame, like your first Avengers, right? If all
Wasn't
those
that Endgame?
no,
what
we had
was
Way of the Avengers and then Infinity War and then
Oh,
Endgame,
okay,
right?
okay,
Like
okay,
you had,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So to me, this is sort of like when everything kind of collapsed down, and now we're really rocking with the event songs of this beef. So first we have push-ups. I don't even know if I have any particular like bars. Just so many, you know what I mean? Like, because before,
pipsqueak.
yeah, man. I did like I actually think, okay, I want to give Drake credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are clowning on Drake. They're like, oh, Drake handily lost. And I did want to take a moment to actually go through some of these bars and be a little bit more objective, at least attempt to be a little bit more objective about who said what and how well they said it. Because it's not just about having ammunition. It's also about like having accuracy, like how well did they execute on those
as a diss record. Does it stand out as a diss record?
Sure.
So push-ups, I'll agree. From like a technical standpoint, I think push-ups. I like push-ups better than Family Matters. I think out of the Drake disses, I think push-up was the best. I think it really, because you know, if Drake didn't come correct, Kendrick didn't need to respond, right?
For sure.
As we were seeing with the Hard Part 6. No need to respond. He basically shot himself in the foot.
Right.
So, you know, with push-ups, he really did something. And yeah, no, I liked it. You know, in terms of accuracy, that's debatable because he was talking about splits, and then he's also in a label situation where he has multiple splits, right?
Yeah, that does ring as hollow to me, especially since Kendrick is like out of his TDE album contract. Like Mr. Morale was the last album that he did with TDE. Yeah. So it does seem a little silly to be going at him for his label deal when he's not even in his label deal anymore. But again, just talking about like the quality of, like, I like the bar. Like he talks about, you know, extortion, baby, whole career you've been shook up because Top told you drop and give me 50, like some push-ups. Yeah. I'm like, that's pretty sick. That's like
it's a good bar.
It's a good bar, man. You know?
So remind me again, because I haven't heard push-ups in a while. Is this where he started talking about the Taylor Swift reference? So he's like, yeah, you made tracks for the Swifties and stuff like that. I think that was a good thing to call out Kendrick on, because it's like, yeah, you're the critical darling, but you still had to bow down to the industry and do these commercial tracks. Now, whether Top Dog forced him or not, it's kind of beside the question. It's just, that's the thing. He did lower his, I believe he lowered his standard to do that track, because what do Taylor Swift and Kendrick Lamar have in common?
Nothing.
You know, they're songwriters, I guess, but nah, they're too far removed from each other.
Well, he makes some interesting claims. He's talking about every song I made it on the chart he got from Drizzy.
Oh, no, that's not Kendrick. That's Future, and that's Ross.
That's Ross. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. There's so many scatter shots. I'm getting lost. I did like the Metro Shut Your Ho Ass Up, make some drums.
Classic.
Right?
The classic line.
That was great. And
I want to talk about the Cash XO thing.
Sure.
So apparently last week, Cash XO got shot up. His security got shot up. So the rumor is that because of the Drake shooting and his security got shot up, is that it was Weeknd, like the Weeknd's team and OVO beefing, and that's who's shooting at each other.
Whoa, okay.
So that's the alleged rumor.
It's localized now, eh? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I told you what I think, but yeah, that is sort of what's being said.
Yeah, wow, that's wild. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I can find the thing about him, because he goes Mountain Tokyo, I'm big in Japan. I'm the hitmaker you depend on. Backstage in my city, I was friend zoned. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Maroon 5 need a verse. You better make it witty. Yeah. You better do a motherfucking show inside the biddy. Maroon 5 need a verse. Better make it witty. Then you need a verse for the Swifties. Top C drop. Better drop and give them 50.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, no, it is fun to see Drake. I don't know. It is kind of funny to see how Drake can leverage Kendrick's image as a hip-hop darling and make fun of him for making pop records.
Yeah, when he's the pop artist.
But it kind of does hold water considering what they each sort of stand for and what their respective lanes are, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so push-ups had some pretty sick bars. I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in particular that stand out. But
the whole size 7 man's like it's funny, but it's
But he really is. He's going off, right?
Yeah.
Number-wise, I'm out here, you're not creeping up. Money-wise, I'm out here, you're not sneaking up. Cornball, your show money, merch money free to us. I'm going to let N-words work it out because I have seen enough, right? Like, you don't want to wake the demon up. Like, he's
he does.
Going off, dude. He goes in.
Boy, boy, does he say that.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
was it this song or was it Tailor Made where he's like, you better come up with some quintuple entendres, boy?
Yeah. So that's Tailor Made. Let's talk
Okay.
about Tailor Made.
Yeah,
What did you think of Tailor Made?
So I know it gets hate because of the AI, but I enjoyed
go ahead,
Tailor
sorry.
Made.
Yeah.
The whole thing of him using Tupac and Snoop Dogg, like it's a great troll job. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's the thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, in a way, I think it's almost, because whatever, what he did with like push-ups, it's good, it's bars. But with Tailor Made, that probably did sting where it's like, yo, you're being like real, you're out of pocket right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Using like my idols and shit to diss me with AI. Now, the Tupac estate has clearly an issue with it, asked him to take it down.
Yeah.
But again, I think like the thing I liked about push-ups and specifically Tailor Made is that it created a moment in hip hop. And we can say whatever about Drake, but I will respect Drake for at least creating this moment.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, Tailor Made was sort of my entry point. I heard about push-ups.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, whatever. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude, at that moment,
Yeah.
I wasn't really interested in the beef. I was kind of like, oh, whatever. Like Drake's just out here trying to get attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Tailor Made was sort of my where it was like, he dropped again?
Yeah.
And
Well, I
he
sent
used
you Tailor
AI?
Made.
Yeah, you sent me Tailor Made, right? And I recall that being the first time that I started really plugging into all this beef stuff going on.
Yeah.
And really quickly, I want to just digress and talk about like my experience.
Yeah.
So like over the weekend that all this stuff was happening, I was at a film festival.
Oh.
So I was like in a hotel, like waking up and like going to bed with like Drake songs in my earbuds, you know what I mean? And like I went to bed that night like listening to Meet the Grams. And then like woke up to like that, but like at a film. So I was like in a hotel, like at a film festival, very much like not at home.
Yeah.
I didn't really have, because I was out like, I don't know, doing my film festival thing, I didn't necessarily get the opportunity to like listen to everything like as it was dropping.
Sure.
Or at least I didn't make time. But yeah, man, that definitely added an exciting quality to that weekend that was already very exciting.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah,
so
man.
you were like buzzing that weekend.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was really trippy, man, and like just hanging out with people, like we're all hanging out and like talking about it, and like, yo, Drake just dropped, and yeah, going through his track, and then oh my God, Kendrick dropped like an hour later.
Not even.
All
So
that shit, 56 minutes or whatever later.
Yeah, it was like 20 minutes.
Okay,
It was insane.
I read somewhere it was like 50 some minutes. It was.
No, I think it was shorter than that.
You want to fight?
I think it was like within the hour.
I think you should get some fucking receipts, Brian.
Okay.
Start beefing right now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's articles that state the exact
You
time.
would say that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, let's move right along. Tailor Made. So I don't know, man. I thought it was kind of weird.
It is weird.
I thought it was kind of weird.
is
Like
weird.
I think I was seeing a lot of people saying online, "Oh, it's genius.
It is.
Drake's a genius."
Well, I wouldn't say he's a genius, but it's creative.
It's what an angle. How does
Yeah.
he do it? And I was just like, I don't know. It just sat as odd to me. Like it's. On the one hand, he didn't say anything particularly incendiary.
Well, I disagree.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean,
I wouldn't. Again, there's this idea of it. Okay, look, there's a line to be crossed where you can sort of say things about someone that are arguably personal
yeah.
without necessarily crossing that line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can kind of laugh. There's certain things they can be a diss or personal, but you can laugh it off.
Sure,
and then there's
sure.
that line you cross. To me, this didn't quite cross that line for me, hearing it. And maybe you would disagree. Maybe it's something about what Tupac or Snoop said.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anything Drake said in that third verse rang to me as like, ooh, he's really crossed the line.
No, it's more so the Snoop Dogg and Tupac verse. I would say the Tupac verse. Is it the Tupac verse? Because he's more incendiary in the Tupac and Tupac and Snoop Dogg, the AI version. They rap like Drake. Like
They
he
do.
clearly.
You know what,
wrote for
dude?
them,
I
right?
wanted to mention that like they just have Drake's flow.
Yeah, exactly.
And it kind of just seems odd. Where
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's Tupac with a Drake flow.
Yeah.
It's like, huh, okay. Snoop Dogg with a Drake flow. Any other thoughts about Tailor Made before I move on?
No, I do think it was a creative, quote unquote, I'll put genius in air quotes move, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like if he didn't get that disrespectful, maybe Kendrick wouldn't have,
You don't think
come
Kendrick
to
would
the
have
table like
responded to
that?
push-ups? You think it was the Tailor Made freestyle that got Kendrick
I think it was
blood
yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a West Coast artist, what I know about the West Coast, that would get the blood rising.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. So the next song in our continuum here is actually Rick Ross's Champagne Moments.
Okay.
Which I don't want to dwell on for too long because it really is just a blip.
What, boy?
Dude, to me, this is just Rick Ross trying to like get attention. Like this is just Rick Ross like, oh, wait a minute. Like I could have something to say maybe about this.
Well,
know?
I mean, yeah, Kanye.
I'm not even, we're not talking about that. But don't worry. But yeah, so Rick Ross said that Drake got like got a nose job to make his nose look smaller so he wouldn't look like his black dad.
Yep.
And then he calls him a white boy a whole bunch.
Yep.
And says like, you it was all good when you wanted to hang out with black people and feel black. Yeah. Which to me is just not really a good angle. I mean, I'm a white dude. I don't know if this is my fight. I don't know if I have a dog in this particular fight.
Yeah. So I'll jump in here and say that. So I think FD Signifier, who we both follow on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think he had a good take on this. Essentially, it's like the way that Ross went about it was very shallow and surface level. Where Kendrick, he kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
But he called him out correctly, right? Where he's like borrowing from black culture when it's like, what has Drake done for the black community? Where it's like, yeah, again, Ross is just very surface level and being like, you know, you're light skinned and just kind of like just stupidly, you know, kind of put those bars together, and it's like that's not the point, Ross.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Yeah.
Right. That's not why people have an issue with Drake.
Yeah. People aren't mad at Drake for not being black enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, kind of, but it goes deeper than that.
But it's not specifically about. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Because like J.Cole's biracial too, right?
Yes, but J.Cole, yeah, exactly. No, and Drake, and I do think I remember seeing something with FD Signifier where he brought up Drake's really crappy Hot 97 freestyle. And how he like read off his BlackBerry. And it was embarrassing. And how Drake's kind of always been apart from the culture in a way, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Which, I mean, I can see where that would be frustrating. But again, like you said, Rick Ross doesn't really go there.
He's not the one to really talk about that, right? Like you were a CEO, bro. You were part of the prison industrial complex locking up black people. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Beat's hot, though. It's a hot beat. Champagne Moments is a fire beat, dude.
All right.
But anyway, let's just move right along. I think that's all we really need to say about that. Next on our list, let's see, we have Euphoria.
Yeah.
So to me, again, that Rick Ross that's like the Ant-Man in between the two Avengers movies. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So then we got Euphoria,
which
is obviously huge. This is when the nuke really drops. This is when we go from, this was just kind of Drake throwing shots into the ether, into the void, to, we have a legitimate beef cooking.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, man, anything in particular? I know Euphoria is a real fucking can of worms, man. There's a lot going on in this song. I don't know if there's anything in particular you want to address.
I really liked Euphoria.
I liked Euphoria a lot too. I think it took me a couple listens though to really like fully my mind around.
Yes, exactly. Because I believe you said it was dense, right? It is very, very dense.
Yeah,
it's very packed, right, with references and allusions. And I think that's actually what a good hip hop record is supposed to be. It's something that you go back and you re-listen and you catch the bars, right? Like that Daft Punk bar, I didn't really catch at first, and then I heard it a second time. I'm like, yo, okay, let me check that out. And then the New Ho King thing, right? And I'm like, yo, damn, he's bringing up that. Like I thought that was just a cursory reference to a popular spot in Toronto, when it's like, no, it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, how deep does it get? Euphoria's the title track, right? Drake being a producer on the TV show Euphoria.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So Euphoria goes deep. There is one bar in particular, I think the one that got Drake to get serious, which got Kendrick to get more serious. Yeah. And again, it took me a minute. I had to really go through and pick it out. He said, his daddy a killer, he wannabe junior, they must have forgotten the shit that they'd done. Dementia must run in his family, but let it get shaky, I'll park his son.
Yeah.
So that was the moment when he just like mentions Drake's son. Like it doesn't, but he says, I'll park his son.
So there are a couple references. So
that was the main one that I picked out.
Okay.
Because again, in the next song, Drake is like, you said something about my son, and now it's real.
So I think
So I
that was
was trying
after actually Meet the Grams, but
No, it's not.
Oh.
Because we go Euphoria, and then we go 616 in LA, and then it goes right into Family Matters.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
you're
trying
right.
to figure out
Yeah.
where did Kendrick mention Drake's son that got him to then take that angle,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
then got Kendrick to do Meet the Grams, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The only bar that I could find, and perhaps I'm missing some sort of subliminal or
Yeah, it's
something,
so
right, is again, he literally says, "Oh, I'll park his son.
so
I'll park him.
There
Like,
is
I'll
a
get him to stop."
there
Like,
is a
what does that mean?
theory that actually that's in reference to Jay Prince and Jazz Prince. So Jazz Prince is the son of Jay Prince, who initially signed Drake. So I don't know if there are rumors that that either maybe Jay Prince, because Jay Prince is pretty old, so maybe he has Parkinson's or something. I don't know. I think he was on the Joe Rogan podcast not that long ago. So, but he looked okay to me. Was I'll park his son? What was the line before that?
So he's because he's talking about his dad. It's sort of like
Yeah.
there's sort of a family tie,
Yes.
as it were, right?
Yeah,
Where he
yeah.
says his daddy a killer, he wanna be Junior. They must have forgotten the shit that they done. Dementia must run in his family, I can't
Yeah.
even say it, it's a tongue twister. Dementia must run in his family, but let it get shaky. I'll park his son, like park. his son.
It could also be
Yeah.
a reference to
park his son.
Wayne, like the Wayne and Drake relationship as well.
Right.
Like that's how I took it. I didn't take it as literal.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, dude, that was
Yeah,
the one bar that I saw where he says anything about his son.
I'll park his son.
I'll park his son.
Yeah, but
Right?
to me that also doesn't make sense because Kendrick's obviously somebody who does like double entendres. There's not enough of an entendre there for
Well, to
a
me,
Kendrick bar,
park
in my
his son
opinion.
would mean like I'm gonna stop him from because Kendrick, I imagine, has some sort of influence or pull
Yeah.
in hip hop, and it might be like I'm not gonna let your son get in to hip hop the way you did. I'll park him. I mean, I don't know, bro. That might be a reach.
But then, yeah, I think that's a
Shall we
reach.
consult genius?
Yeah, because then the dementia line doesn't make sense, right? So that's why I think it's an older person.
All right, let's do this.
You think Kendrick was the one who really went low first?
I do actually.
I
I do.
disagree completely.
I do. I think at the end of the day, Drake doesn't understand what he's doing. That kind of is what
Yeah.
I would say, right? Like
That is true as well.
You know what I mean? I think Drake was sort of like thought this was still
Still hip hop.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And even with the AI stuff, it's like it's kind of fucking around, you know? It's
Yeah,
like-
exactly.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
That's my point. And then I think when Kendrick came in with Euphoria,
Well, he warned him. He's like,
Yeah.
"Yo, you're in Euphoria." He's like, I know what you're about to do.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna do on, attack me on the family front because you're a piece of shit."
right? Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, man. I want to say more about the specific bars, but I feel like I'll be here all day.
So
It's a lot of good bars.
okay,
There's
so
a lot of good lyrics.
So I want to talk about Euphoria for a second
talk
because
about
was it Euphoria? There is a Kendrick thing where he's like, "Yo, I hate the way you dress.
I hate the way that you walk.
like,
I hate the way you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
So my takeaway from that, Kendrick thinks Drake is a moral degenerate,
Right.
and that's why he hates him that much.
Oh yeah.
Right? So like he's like, yeah, I don't fuck with you or your lifestyle.
Yeah.
That is basically what I think is sort of like
Oh, for sure. And
the
he talks
main
about
thing.
yeah, right. Like there's I do think that the bars leading up, there's a thing where he talks about, I hate when a rapper talk about guns and somebody die, they turn into nuns, they hop online like pray for my city, and then he faking for likes and digital hugs.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I do think that's like there's some good bars. I don't know if I
Okay.
want to get too into any particular bars.
Okay,
Like, are you-
so that do you know what that is in reference to? Okay, so
I kind of, but go on, go ahead.
So there was a lot of shootings in I forget the specific year, but there was a specific shooting at the Muzik nightclub downtown that I think Drake was at or he was performing or something like that. And basically, he hadn't come out with like any kind of like comment about, the shootings, even though he has like this mass influence over the city and he has like gangster rapper, like he's very affiliated with
Yeah,
the street rappers.
sure.
So yeah, for him to, so what is the line? I pray for my city.
It's I hate when the rapper talk about guns and somebody died, they turn into nuns, they hop in online like pray for my city, he faking for likes and digital hugs.
Yeah, that because he there was like a campaign where it was like I forget what it was called, but yeah, basically he then like did this like marketing campaign, and basically that's what Kendrick is calling out. He's like, yeah, you're fake as fuck for that.
Yeah, but I think that holds water, you know.
Yeah.
I think Kendrick did come correct. What else do you want to say about Euphoria?
Well, him trying to take away the N-word pass is funny, but I
we should
guess
definitely talk about that because that's another thing. Again, like everyone's going at Drake for not being black enough, which I think is kind of not the right take. Like you could argue Kendrick maybe went about it better because Drake. Okay, look, it's well documented, and we all know Drake cannibalizes artists.
Yeah.
Too, right?
But not even that. It's just like he wants to be part of street culture so bad, right? And where it's like, yo, Kendrick is authentically from Compton.
Yeah.
He's, he may not have been in the streets with himself, but he was affiliated.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's like Drake wasn't affiliated with street dudes. He was pretty much a backpack rapper.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Like before he became Mr. Commercial.
Yeah.
Like his stuff with like, Nicholas F. I mean, this is a real deep cut, but, he's rapping. And there's even a song where he's rapping to the MF Doom meat grinder beat.
Oh, wow.
And it's like
Drake?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're like, okay. But then it's like the Toronto underground rap scene hated this dude.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all right. And he's the one who became successful, but so what was I'm trying to circle back to the main point.
Well, it's just more like the whole revoking his N-word pass,
yes.
right?
So,
and like, we don't want to hear you say N-word no more.
Yeah, because Drake is from the suburbs. He's from Forest Hill, right? Sure. So the thing is, like, I think from like Kendrick's point of view, he didn't earn that. Right. So it's like, yeah, I see what he's saying by that. He's like, you played up your whiteness when it was convenient for you, and now because you're in a black culture, you're playing up your blackness, even though you weren't about that authentically throughout your life.
Yeah.
That's what I think that means.
I guess it's a little bit, it's not nuanced enough, right? Like I think it's a diss record.
Diss record,
right?
yeah.
I get it, but that was sort of my take, was like, okay, I guess that's where we're going with this, right? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Also, so after Euphoria.
Yeah.
Right? 616
in LA, yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that. That's one of, if not my favorite songs.
Really? I didn't like that one as much.
I actually really like 616 in LA. I think I might be more or less alone in that take.
Yeah.
But I really like it, man. I like that Kendrick spends the first half just like authentically doing a timestamp track.
Yeah.
Like he actually is, that's kind of just what he's doing. He's like talking about what's on his mind and what he's, you know what I mean? And it's kind of being a little introspective.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the verse, he sort of flips and he starts more talking to Drake. And I will pull up my phone again here. So he spends the whole second half, the bar, dude. And here's that bar where he says, right towards the end of that first half, where he says, the mannerisms of Raphael, I can heal and give you art, but the industry's cooked as I pick the carcass apart.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. That like made me make a stank face, bro. I was like, ooh, like that's hard, dude.
It is hard, yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Like Kendrick's coming correct with bars, right?
He does got bars, but the problem is it's like it's not a, like it doesn't feel like a diss record, and that's like somebody said, it's like his come outside record. You know what I mean? It's his version is tailor made.
Yeah, it's his tailor made.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, and it's like half of the track he's just flexing as he's a better writer, and it's like it's a dope bar. That specifically that Raphael bar I really enjoy as well, actually.
Sick, dude. It's so good, dude. Yeah. But then he does say, it was fun until you started to put money in the streets.
Yeah.
Then lost money because they came back with no receipts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I live a boring life. I love peace, but war ready if the world is ready to see you bleed.
Yeah.
Right? So there's this idea that Kendrick's like, yeah, dude, I just keep to myself.
Yep.
I'm not out here like talking to Millie Bobby Brown and kind of just generally being, unsavory.
Yeah.
So good luck, right? Like, good luck. What are you going to come at me with, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was kind of the dynamic for most of the battle.
Absolutely.
Was Kendrick just being like, bro, like, what are you going to really do? to
Yeah.
me, you know, because Kendrick has been, I don't know, it's not like he doesn't have any skeletons in his closet at all, but it seems like he's been more or less a morally upstanding citizen for the, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Well, the thing is, it's like the culture's also got his side, right?
But it's weird, man. Have you seen much of the discourse on like Reddit? Like, have you been following kind of what people
not
are
Reddit,
saying?
more so on YouTube. I've been watching like reaction videos and stuff.
Really interesting to see like our Drizzy's reaction to a lot of this stuff. A lot of it has been like, man, people really like just gave Kendrick the W without really paying attention. You know?
I disagree.
No, I know, but it's
cope.
just I know, but it's just one of those things where like people kind of still have Drake's back, and I've seen people saying like,
stance.
I don't fuck with Kendrick anymore because he beats his wife, and that's what Drake, you know, and like stuff like that, where I'm like, yo, like, are we really like, are we really gonna cancel Kendrick stands? Really?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know, man, but that does kind of feel like where things have started to head, where people are like, yo, I don't know if I could look at this guy. And it's on both sides.
I do feel
Kendrick
that
stands are like, I don't know if
okay, yeah. So I wasn't hearing myself in my head.
it's all good. So it's like Kendrick stands are like, man, I don't know if I can look at Drake the same way anymore. And
But
Drake stands are, I don't know if I can look at Kendrick the same way anymore. And it's like, guys, come on. Like,
No, with Drake is a bit different because there's a paper trail. You know what I mean? So there's a pattern of behavior that is problematic, to say the very least.
Yeah.
With Kendrick, like if it's true, like do I think there is an OVO sex trafficking ring? No.
have you heard? You've heard about the OVO hoes though, right?
It's groupies, right? Like
I don't know, dude. So I was messing with a girl. This is kind of a weird. I don't know if we ever talked about this, but I was messing with a girl a couple years ago, and somehow Drake came up in the conversation, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you know that Drake like has an underground grooming ring, right?" This was years ago, bro. And she was like, yeah, like his crew, not Drake himself, obviously, right?
Yeah,
but OVO affiliates will go to parties.
Yeah.
They'll find cute young girls and they'll invite them to come party with them, and then they kind of like groom them. Like, dude, like this is this is a thing that like
That's
we
gross.
in the city have kind of, at least I was sort of vaguely aware of
Oh God.
before any of this went down. And like, it's just a rumor. So I wasn't
Yeah.
going to be out here like, no, guys, we should all cancel Drake, right?
Yeah.
But now, like, hearing all this stuff kind of corroborated in this beef, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I'm actually not surprised.
Oh God.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how much I want to get into, like, necessarily, like, the
Yeah, I
Drake
don't.
allegations,
This is all,
but
again, this is all alleged. I'm just
Yeah,
some
it's
guy,
alleged.
right?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Don't get a suit towel. Yeah, no, like, okay, so like in terms of the allegation, so like there is the video footage of him on stage with the girl who's 17.
Who then had to come out and be like, guys, I'm fine. I'm not like
So-
fucking traumatized or, you know. I don't know.
The thing with that, to me, it's a bit. You know what I mean? It was like part of his stage act.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure. It's still kind of weird.
It is weird. It's problematic. It's problematic.
Yeah,
I'll agree
But when
there.
did he do that? That was like 2009 or something. It was
yeah.
a long time ago.
So-
Culture was a bit different, right?
So that's kind of what I'm alluding to, right? So
Yeah.
it's like he's also younger. Like he's in
Oh,
his
that's a good point. Yeah,
early
he's like
20s.
23.
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
like 17.
Exactly.
That's,
Right? It's
that
not
is a
that.
lot less creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. If he did that now,
Oh,
yo,
super
get them the
creepy.
fuck out of here.
Yeah, that would be super creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just the thing, man. With like powerful men, bro, it's like
Yeah,
inevitable. They're gonna do some weird sex thing.
Well,
It's just how it goes.
Well,
bro. Like-
here's the thing, right? When he did that, like I said, it's problematic. He shouldn't have done that because
Sure.
he's still using his influence on
Yeah,
a
yeah,
young,
for sure.
impressionable youth, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So the problem is, and you know, Kendrick kind of even says it, is like you didn't have like a male figure to step in and be like to kind of like correct you. Somebody should have stepped in to like now the point, because now things have gone too far with the alleged grooming.
Yeah.
I mean, him texting Millie Bobby Brown is completely inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like when you look into the details, because like on the surface you're like, maybe just him as like, you know, because he was a child actor, maybe that's what their conversation is about. But then you hear the interview and you're like, wait a minute, why is he texting you about that particular topic? Like, why is he texting you about dating advice and boys and shit? And that's like, nah. And then when you see the
Yeah,
patterns,
he should be texting her about like industry advice, like, "Yo, don't sign that deal.
Well,
that's a bad deal, Millie.
But
don't
I mean,
do it." Like,
I mean, he shouldn't be talking to her
he
at
probably
all.
shouldn't be talking to her at all. But at
But-
least if the texts were all like business advice, I
Yeah.
think we'd all be like,
Yeah,
you know what I
it's
mean?
like, all right, you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
keep it PG, to use his own words.
That's one of those things, right? I'm so reluctant to be like, oh, any adult man interacting with an underage girl is automatically wrong. I think
Well,
that's kind of
I agree with you. I think now as a culture we're like hyper aware,
we're
and it's just more like
sensitive.
optics.
Yeah,
because of Harvey Weinstein.
No,
and all that, right?
and let me be clear. Like I do think that a lot of the times that shit is usually not. I find myself a little bit like trepidatious, I guess, about when people are just reflexively suspicious of any adult man interacting with like any underage girl for any reason.
Yeah.
Like you can have an adult man and a girl who's like, I don't know, 12, 13 can have a healthy relationship, right? Like I don't know. I think no.
Like
bro,
if it's like I said, if it's industry stuff and it's like helping into a limited capacity, sure. But you should also limit your interactions. In that case,
sure. And I think Drake, especially considering that he's such an influential, famous artist, should maybe be more cognizant of that stuff. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I just personally I enjoy kids, not sexually. Right. But I do feel that weird pressure of like, oh, like you've got to watch out if you interact with any young kids because people are going to think you want to fuck those kids, which is like, what? But I see what you mean. Again, it's one of those things where it's better to be cautious, right? Than to
take an abundance of caution. Yeah,
exactly. So when I guess all this is to say that when I first heard like Drake's texting Millie Bobby Brown way back, because we've all known about this for years, right? I was kind of like, oh, like, okay. You know? But yeah, I don't know. It's not dating advice, right? That's not good. But yeah, I don't know. So once we do you want to kind of get back to the timeline or?
Yeah.
We've kind of gotten a little off track here. I know. Fuck. So basically, next we move on to Family Matters.
Okay.
And Family Matters is definitely where things like escalate, because I think Kendrick had made a point in all the other tracks of saying, don't talk about my family.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, whatever you do, this is all hip-hop, we can kind of hang out. And it's funny, too.
Friendly,
because he talks, there's that line in Euphoria where he says, I make music that electrify them, and you make music that pacifies them.
I could double down on that
line. But a random acts of kindness or something, right?
Yeah.
And I guess what he meant was like, you pacify them in the sense that they're babies, and you're, like with a pacifier, it's kind of like a pedophile joke, right? And all that shit comes out with like, pretty much with Family Matters here. So let me.
Well, I mean, Drake is even the one who brought it up in the first place. On like, was it? Is it either on? I think it was on Push Ups, where he's like, "You're gonna come at me with the young girl thing." Right? Yeah. He's the one who brought it up first.
Sure.
He is the one who brought it up first, to be clear, right? Because he knew that was a point of attack, right? Like he did realize that.
Well, because he does have a bar in Push-Ups where he's talking about like something about Whitney and what does he say here? Let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second. He says something about like Whitney needs like somebody here. Hold on, just 2 seconds. Sorry. That's tailor-made.
Shouldn't have mentioned Whitney. He did not learn from his Pusha D
No,
beef.
he really didn't. It's right at the end too, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it at the end of the first verse? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Hugs and kisses, man. Don't tell me about no switches. I'll be rocking every fucking chain I own next visit. I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney. Top tape drop. Your little midget ass better fucking drop and give me, right? Drop and give me 50. Drop. So right there, he kind of mentions it, but he doesn't make a big deal out of it. You know what I mean? And then I think that's what got Kendrick to be like, yo.
Yeah.
Better watch your step there, buddy. Shit. Yeah, stop that shit, you know? And then, so then so anyway, so we kind of set up that Kendrick was going to be really mad if Drake mentions his family. So Drake made a fucking song called Family Matters.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, again, I like Family Matters. I actually think
like Family Matters too.
I think Family Matters might be the better of the two songs between Family Matters and,
Euphoria?
No, between Family Matters and Push Ups.
Oh.
I think Family Matters might be the better Drake song, personally.
I mean, a lot of people are saying this. I mean, the beat switches are cool. I think there's not enough. I find there's not enough consistency on opinion online about, because some people like the first part, some people like the third part, right? And it's just like the beat switches were cool. The music video was awesome. I like that he shot it in Toronto and he's crushing, the
the music video was cool. Yeah, that was kind of sad. Yeah, that was hard. when he crushed that van, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
But yeah, right. Like I mean, at that point, things had gotten really personal, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, and I like that he went to New Ho King. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
Shit, I might go to New Ho King later.
I have a photo of New that I'm gonna use for this episode. Actually, of New Ho King.
Nice.
But yeah, what was I gonna say on the Family Matters? I don't know. What was the standout bar on Family Matters?
So Family Matters, I just kind of wanted to highlight that Drake is like spitting.
Yeah, he's rapping.
You know what I mean?
He's
like he's
rapping.
spitting, dude. Like, I just want to quote real quick, all the puppy love was over in your late teens. Why you never hold your son and tell him say cheese. We could have left the kids out of this. Don't blame me. You a dog and you know it. You just play sweet.
Yeah.
Your baby mama captions always screaming, save me. You make her dirty you did her dirty all your life. You're trying to make peace. I heard that one of the little kids might be Dave Freeze.
Oh yeah,
He does
drop
that
and
whole
give me
thing.
a
Drop and give me Dave Freeze. And I was like, yo, he's going off, dude. There's some solid rhymes.
Yeah.
In there is my point, right? Like he does have like Drake is rapping.
Yeah, he's rapping, and also when he switches to the
Dude,
singing,
and that second fucking verse, man, he's going hard. And I
when
want
Kendrick opens his mouth, give him a Grammy right now.
Give him a Grammy right now. No, okay, so hold on. So then there's I knew it was smoke when Abel hit us with the serenade.
Yeah.
And we said like, right, almost started reaching for my waist.
Yeah.
So that's a little like a throwaway for Abel, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so that's the problem with Family Matters is that he's not focused. He's
not
going
focused.
on the other artists still. Right?
So I want to do, before we talk specifically about Kendrick, I do want to address some of the shots that Drake's, because he's doing the 1v20 thing. He's, you know, he's like Germany.
Yeah.
He's being attacked. He can't defend all his fronts, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So he says, still mad about that one hoe we ain't even fuck. I just lip locker. I get active when it's wartime. I ain't even really let my dick drop.
Yeah.
I think that's for
Metro.
You're saying Metro or Future?
Yeah.
Like it's interchangeable, which is extra funny. And then he goes at, I think it's,
Ross.
he goes at Ross. Yeah.
Airplane line.
Yeah. What the fuck? I heard Rick drop talking something about a nose job.
Yeah.
And then he has that thing later where he says, Ross called me a white boy, and that shit kind of got a ring to it.
Yeah.
Ooh, dude, that was hard, bro. I don't know, man. Yeah. So, and then, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say though, the knock against Family Matters, he does say the free the slaves line on Family Matters, right?
Oh, does he?
Yeah. You're always rapping like you try to free the slaves.
Oh,
You're just acting like an activist.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
You don't like that?
the free the slaves, bro, that's a crazy, like, nah, it's, yeah, no.
You think he crossed the line there? I didn't get that from that bar. I wasn't like, what?
Well, because like,
You know?
the culture is not going to be with him at that point, right? Because it's like you're like the whole thing is like you're already apart from the culture, and then you're saying like, "Yo, this dude, you know what he's trying to do." You're dissing him. Like I get why he did it, right? But it also, to me, that bar feels. That's when I knew Drake was out of touch, because that sounds like something my fucking uncle would say at Thanksgiving.
Rapping like he's trying to free the slaves.
Exactly. He sounds like an old man. He sounds like an old man.
Interesting, yeah. And you know, something that's really been highlighted throughout this whole beef is that Drake was so aloof.
Yeah.
For so long, you know? Drake was a joke. We all made fun of Drake. And he just didn't acknowledge it, or he let it all kind of roll off his back, and it was all good. And that kind of made him charismatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it feels like everything's so personal, you know, and he's got a fucking, I don't know, like he just seems so much more insecure than he used to be, man. Like.
Yeah. So, and okay, do we want to talk about Meet the Grahams now?
Sure. Real quick though, I just before we close up, I just want to talk about what he said to Rocky, dude.
Oh, okay.
So to Rocky said, Rakim talking shit again. Gassed because you hit my BM first to do the math. Who I was hitting then, I ain't even know. You rapped because they only talk about your fit again. Probably got to have a kid again for you think of dropping any shit again. Even when you do drop, they're going to say you should have modeled because it's mid again.
Yeah.
Right? So essentially like...
Just calling him irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of works, I guess. Like ASAP is kind of falling off a little bit.
Yeah, especially compared to Drake, who's dropping like every year, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So,
making big numbers, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought I'd mention, you know, he's going at Rocky now, you know, and he's going at Ross now, and he's going at Weeknd now, and then but he does have Dude, look at how many bars he has for Kendrick. He has a whole verse for Kendrick.
Still, it's not enough.
You don't think so?
It's Kendrick Lamar, dude.
Yeah, I guess,
you know
but he's
what I
like the
mean?
whole first and third verses are just for Kendrick, and like the
No.
second verse is when he starts to kind of, because he's going in and he's like rapping fast. He does a bunch of Kendrick bars, and then he kind of goes, oh, and you, and you, and you. Right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he's not that guy. You know what I mean? Like on push-ups, okay, you know what I mean. But once the beef escalated, like to when Kendrick responded with Euphoria, that's the point where it's like, no, you got to focus on one dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Him taking shots at others, they're kind of out of the conversation at that point.
No, but I think that's Drake trying to like just show that like Kendrick isn't even a worthy opponent. He's not going to dedicate a whole song to him. Until he
that's
does.
what he tried
Until he
to do.
does. I'm
That's
just saying,
what he tried
that's
to
his
do.
strategy.
That was his strategy.
Yeah,
But then it's also a stupid strategy because it's like, ghostwriters aside, right? Because that is, the thing. I believe Drake writes lyrics, maybe not all, but maybe not,
or maybe
he
he
has
gets them
helps
like,
with
I think he
hits.
gets them like punched up. Maybe,
Yeah, exactly,
Like he
right?
writes a verse and then they're like, oh, maybe you could have said this would be cleaner if you move this word around. You know what I mean? Like,
but let's be clear, Drake's pen game has never been on the level of Kendrick Lamar's.
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of my point is that the Kendrick, he won a Pulitzer Prize for rap. You know what I mean? It's like you're going against literally like, if not the best dude in the whole industry, one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
So for you to think you can just brush it away, let it slide, nah, that's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think something I've heard in the discourse that I tend to agree with is that if Family Matters, had more time to sort of like gestate or to sort of digest in the public consciousness, we would all look back on it a lot more fondly.
I agree.
Because I do think it's solid, man. I was listening back to a lot of these songs from this beef today, and man, I think Family Matters is quite good, man.
It's a good diss record.
Really strong.
It is
it's very good.
It is a good diss record.
I want to just kind of give Drake his flowers. I mean,
for sure.
Overall, we'll talk about sort of who won at the end, right? But I think Drake definitely held his own. He proved that he's
put up
not
a fight.
slouch.
He put up a fight.
He really did.
Yeah.
He didn't just, boom, 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 down,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people expected him to just go down, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But he put up a fight. He respectably did his thing.
He did his thing. He went for it. And I got to say, I respect that,
The issue is, I feel, he crossed the line with like the personal shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So it's like, if he hadn't done that.
I have one more bar I want to read from Family Matters, and then we'll get right into Meet the Grams. So it's the crisis management team. thing. You hired a crisis management team. You clean up the fact. You beat on your queen. Your picture you painted. It ain't what it seems. You're dead. And I think that's pretty personal.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at that point we've definitely crossed the line.
Yeah.
And then that will lead us cleanly into Meet the Grams.
Yeah.
Produced by The Alchemist.
Oh.
Very spooky beat.
Oh, dude.
Very like spooky vibes, just all around, man.
Meet the Grams is diabolical.
Yeah, Meet the Grams is gnarly, dude. Meet the Grams is gnarly.
Yeah.
I think overall, I mostly want to talk about the last verse where he specifically addresses Drake, not so much the bar.
I kind of want to talk about the first verse.
You talk about whatever you want. I got it here, but I'm just saying.
Okay, talk.
My talking points are more in the third, but if you want to
talk
start
about the third.
No, start from the top.
All right. Okay, him addressing Adonis is crazy.
Pretty wild, yeah.
I mean, the fact that I found that was like some of the most brutal thing, bro. After Meet the Grams, and specifically him talking about to Adonis and being like, "Don't be like your dad. Don't be a bitch. Don't grow up." He said your grandfather should have busted in a condom.
Yeah,
that's so
yeah, it's pretty brutal.
It's so fucking disrespectful.
It's pretty brutal, yeah.
If I was Drake at that point, I would have like tried to call and be like, "Yo, we got to fight at this point."
Yeah, we have to arrange a boxing match.
Like for real. You know what I mean? Like, and then, it didn't have to go as far as it went after that if they had done that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it would have, kind of kept it to an entertainment level if they, stopped it there. That condom line is crazy.
Fair enough.
The whole thing of him like psychoanalyzing Drake. Right. So where is it? I mean, oh, man. I say fucking Adonis got to fight Kendrick, bro, when he grows up. That's how fucking vicious this is.
Yeah, I do like the like if you don't get it, play it again when you're 18.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so
Let me be your mentor since your daddy don't teach you shit. Never let a man piss on your leg. Like, da 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 da. And then he's like, the thing about, so you were saying about like you didn't like, because you think it's like colorism or whatever, right? But then he's like, kind of saying to Adonis, like, you grow up to be a black man. He's like, you can be a part of the culture. Just don't act like how your dad did.
True.
You know what I mean?
I think Euphoria is strong enough on its own, and then when you get the 616 too, is like, so I really like it, man. I know I'm in the minority there.
I just don't think it was like strong enough as a diss record. I think as an overall song, it was cool. You know what I mean?
Sure, fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought it was great as a diss record. I don't know. That's just, again, seem to be alone on that, but
Okay.
I just think the way he not appropriated, maybe is the wrong word, but like the way he did what
Adapted.
Drake
Yeah.
was like the way he stole that idea,
Yeah.
the timestamp from Drake in the first half,
Yeah.
and like sort of said like, hey, you know that thing that's like your thing, I can do it better than you, and then actually addresses him directly.
Yeah.
The way he split that, I that's what made
You think
it
it was
to
dope? It
me.
was a dope flip.
So yeah,
the
man.
song
So,
itself is a flip.
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So low key, I think 616 in LA is my favorite song of the beef.
Okay. All
Isn't
right.
that fucking weird?
Yeah, I do think that's weird because it's like that's not on streaming platforms and stuff. That was just an IG song.
Yeah,
You know what
I know.
So I do think I personally Meet the Grams, Euphoria, maybe a tie between Push Ups and Family Matters for third.
Yeah.
And then last place is the Hard Part 6 for me.
For sure. Yeah. I think I don't know.
I'd even put 7 Minute Drill like above the Hard Part 6.
I want to go to bat. I want to go to bat for the Hard Part 6, but you're right.
Yeah.
Like all things, you're right. Like, yeah.
Yeah. We addressed the tone of the beef and the allegations. So the one thing that we didn't touch on that I wanted to talk about, but you may not have had the same bubble, I guess.
Okay.
Is the think pieces surrounding the beef.
Oh yeah, no, not really. Like I tried to stay away from those.
Okay, fair
to be
enough.
honest,
Yeah,
I kind of because to be honest, I had a feeling that this would happen, and I was like, I want to have my own opinions.
Fair enough. So I will say there has been commentary about from women in particular how they didn't appreciate being, or particularly black women being used as ammunition for two huge male rap artists.
True.
So
That's fair.
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So my take on that, which might be whatever, I'll take, out of touch, out of date, whatever. Bro, it's hip hop. That's it is what it is. Like when we were on rap message boards, like I was a part of rap message boards like growing up. This is the kind of shit we used to get up to. You know what I mean? So it's like I get what you're saying, like respectfully, I understand where you're coming from, but also like stop trying to sanitize the culture.
Right.
This is war. This is the rap equivalent of war.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
So it's like, I don't think they should have, got people's children involved and shit like that. I do think it crossed the line, and I think it crossed the line of good taste. But
also, what do you mean? Like, I think, because what Kendrick said, you don't respect black women.
Yeah.
Drake was like, actually, I do respect black women.
Yeah.
And now black women are like, hey, we didn't ask to be involved, which is like, I guess.
No,
but
I mean,
you know what I mean?
no,
like,
but
I get it, but like,
there are bars of like, when you stand beside Sexy Red, you see two bad bitches.
Right.
Right. So it's like,
is that a shot at black women overall?
Because they're like, you're using black women as a joke.
Is that what he's saying? I thought he was more just.
I don't think that's what he's saying, but it's
Oh.
like, it's the fact that that's a punchline, that it's like.
Well, he's just saying that Drake's effeminate, though, right? That's
Yeah,
but how is that a punchline? How does that in any way derogatory to women?
People, because you're making fun of somebody being effeminate, right? Like it's just like, oh, you have feminine features or whatever.
Well,
right?
but that's what we were just saying, right?
Yeah.
About how, like, yeah, sure, like all the sort of there is a little bit of battle rap grit, that has wormed its way into this beef, where I am being a little more forgiving.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Remember, we like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I'm just saying what the think
yeah.
pieces are saying.
True. Well, I don't know, man. Again, not a black woman. Don't have a dog in that fight. Can't really say.
Fair.
But I mean, yeah, if you're feeling disrespected, then fucking that sucks. I don't know.
Yeah. And some people are saying like, because the whole thing about like, Drake getting a BBL and then he disses Megan. And Megan kind of said like, you had the same surgeries as I did, right?
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that pretty much it covers it, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thoroughly.
Yeah.
Covered a lot of ground today, dude.
Yeah, we did what, 3 hours on beef.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, but I think this definitely deserved it. I think that this is a real moment. I know a lot of people are talking about it being the biggest beef of the century.
Yeah.
Like bigger than Jay and Nas, bigger than Biggie and Pac, right? Which I think kind of agree with. I think Biggie and Pac was more important.
Yes, I think bigger than Jay and Nas because of the quantity of songs.
Sure.
But not bigger than Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah, Tupac and Biggie, that's like a foundational beef, dude.
Yeah.
That beef is in like the DNA of hip hop.
It literally changed the course of hip hop.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one might.
I disagree. Well, it could. You're right. It could.
Just saying.
Yeah, because
we'll be back in a year for damage reports. Yeah. See what all went down with the real fallout was, you know? Yeah.
All right. You've been listening to The Freeze, the podcast about hip hop chatter. I almost screwed that up. I've been with my co-host here, Tyler McLaurin. And yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Hey, and remember, stay frosty, Freeze Nation.
All right.
Yeah.
Music.